In Asheville, North Carolina, people are reporting nonstop offers to sell their property for cash. At the same time, there's only one way in and one way out, and nobody's allowed to move. On top of that, trucks carrying aid and supplies are getting their tires slashed so they can't even get through. I mean, it's getting real, really fast. But that sounds very familiar. I mean, look at what happened in Maui. Residents there were pressured to sell their land after the fires, and now Asheville is going through the same twisted playbook. Why? Because North Carolina isn't just sitting on regular land. No, it's sitting on gold, the richest supply of lithium in the world for batteries and the purest quartz for the 530 billion microchip industry. And all of that, it's right under the area being hit. Residents are being asked to sell their properties, aid is being blocked, and the whole situation reeks of something bigger than a natural disaster, just based on the evidence that we've seen. And just like in Maui, people are caught in the middle of a mess that feels far too deliberate.
We'll more than double the EV penetration in the U.S. from 2021 to 2023. Every EV needs a battery. They all need lithium. So there's been demand. With the IRA in particular,
tremendous shortages of lithium chemicals that the battery and car companies need to produce all the electric cars they want to produce. These shortages are likely to last for years and years. I think well into the 2030s.
That's the CEO of Piedmont Lithium, which happens to be one of the biggest lithium mining companies in the world. And as you just saw, the man keeps preaching to every news outlet that we need more lithium to make more batteries. Now, back in 2022, he said that our hope is that we'll be in production in North Carolina in 2026, and we will be fully permitted and approved and funded sometime in 2024. And it's a wild claim considering the company was facing a lot of resistance from local residents who were not okay with this mining operation because Piedmont's plans call for 4 open pit mines 500 feet deep. That means demolishing houses, digging up farm fields and woods, and disrupting streams. Some neighbors have sold their land to the company, but others whose property borders the site aren't happy.
Piedmont Lithium says their mine will extract lithium to power everything from Tesla cars to smartphone batteries, but the project has become super controversial.
As Piedmont Lithium workers drive to their job site, their neighbors greet them with these signs telling them they're not welcome here. After months of protesting, tonight's meeting will be the first time Lisa Carpenter Baldwin's family gets to meet face to face with the people who will decide the fate of Piedmont Lithium's state mining permit.
Well, Brian, this vote was described as one of the most momentous decisions Gaston County commissioners would make on their time on the board. But it's not just going to temporarily ban lithium mining. It's also going to give Gaston County more time to do their research on this whole process.
But despite all this resistance, those communities are now left helpless because of what happened in the past week. Is it a coincidence that all of this is happening in 2024, the exact year he predicted? Not likely. And with entire towns completely underwater, it's now hunting season for land-grabbing sharks who will not only get the disputed land, but will also save a ton of money because it will be devalued substantially. And that's why you might be seeing ads like this.
The lithium business is like minting money. Let me introduce you to my company, EnergyX. We're a lithium extraction startup that is supercharging lithium production, both here in the US and worldwide. Limited space is available in our current funding round, so if you're looking for an investment with an industry of tons of potential, EnergyX could be the exact opportunity you're searching for.
And lithium miners aren't the only ones trying to grab as much land as possible in North Carolina and its neighboring states. Due to the presence of the raw material, many electric companies are now making giant batteries in the area. And one such company is Duke Energy, which has a 9 megawatt battery in Asheville, North Carolina. And yeah, this is the same town which has been cut off from the rest of the world due to the flooding. While this battery seems impressive, Duke Energy is planning on investing a further $600 million to create more of these batteries in North Carolina and 5 other states. So you can bet they're going to need a lot of land and a constant supply of lithium from the area. But people are not blind to such blatant manipulation tactics anymore, and that's why videos like this one are now exploding all over social media.
What does this mean? This is North Carolina here. What does this mean? Piedmont Lithium has bought local homes to make room for their project. Did North Carolina have some kind of lithium mine or something?
Hey guys. Number 20, 21, and I think number 9's in the back there.
The demand for it is skyrocketing, the price of it is skyrocketing, and the capacity that Chile has to exploit this resource is almost limitless.
Now, another very interesting video comes from a TikTok user who explains how this current event, it's related to some other natural disasters, including the derailment in East Palestine.
And this is not because of something occurring naturally. And now everybody knows about the 2030 agenda and going all electric with the cars. And that requires a lot of lithium, cobalt, all these rare earth minerals. All of this requiring a massive amount of water from drought-stricken regions, which is probably why Idaho recently wanted to restrict the water. But I want to tie in something that not many people are looking into, and I actually need your help. I was deleting a lot of videos and photos last night to free up space on my cell phone that uses these lithium batteries. I noticed videos that I had recorded last year on the train derailments. Watching them again got me thinking, maybe this is all tied in together. And it didn't take long to actually connect some pretty big dots. We can start with the biggest one, East Palestine. Could it be a coincidence that all of these train derailments just happen to be near cobalt mines and lithium mines? I came across a Penn State article that shows that cobalt is underground in East Palestine. If anyone here is from East Palestine, please let me know your thoughts on this. I don't know, maybe they're in the hopes that now a settlement has been reached, people will start moving out. Is that the reason why there's a new law that if you own an abandoned property, you will start getting fined? Now, why would they be interested in people selling that property? Let's start with Pocatello, Idaho. Last year, Union Pacific had 4 train derailments in Pocatello. This is an important hub for Pocatello because it is an exporter for agriculture, and the train that derailed was actually carrying fertilizer. And then June 23rd of last year, you had the Stillwater, Montana train derailment, dumping molten sulfur and asphalt into the Yellowstone River. Now, Stillwater Mines in Montana is America's only producer of platinum and palladium, which is used in catalytic converters. 2 months ago, a train derailed in La Follette, Tennessee, which is known for its coal mining. Now, is it a coincidence that all of the train derailments, besides the one in East Palestine, involved coal, palladium, things that are not considered green?
She's not wrong about people selling homes cheap in East Palestine, Ohio, because even after a chemical cleanup, it's obvious that no one would want to live in such an area. That's exactly why a staggering 99% of properties in the area have been sold since the disaster, and only 44% of them got over the appraisal price, which means most people got screwed. And while Hurricane Helene has certainly created a humanitarian disaster, it's also raised red flags for all of the tech world. You see, hidden inside the mountains of western North Carolina, there's a town which produces the very heart of the tech world.
I've been devastated the last couple days to see what has happened to western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee in the wake of Hurricane Helene. I have friends over there. I have some family in Appalachia. There's also a tech connection to this story. You may not know it, but the one place in the world that produces silicon sand or silica sand pure enough for the crucibles that melt silicon ingots so that they become pure enough, like 11 nines pure enough, to make silicon wafers, which make the chips that go into your phone, that go into your computer, that go into everything that has semiconductors. All of that sand, that comes from Spruce Pine, North Carolina. The sand for the crucible that makes the ingots pure enough to make chips comes from Spruce Pine, North Carolina.
Well, unfortunately, Nate, we do know the state of spruce pine, and it's not good at all. And more importantly, we also know that the mine is no longer operational, as you can see from this Forbes article, which states, operations at a quartz mine in western North Carolina have been shut down for more than 5 days after Hurricane Helene dumped 2 feet of rain on the town of Spruce Pine, washing out roads and cutting power to an area with an industry critical to semiconductor manufacturing across the world. So yeah, for now at least, things are looking dire for the tech industry. And let me be very clear when I say tech, I just don't mean your phones and laptops. These chips are used in medical equipment, vehicles, planes, pretty much all kinds of manufacturing units and everything else that has some kind of computer inside of it. We already had a shortage after the pandemic, but things will get much rougher if the mine doesn't become operational for multiple weeks. Now, since the government and the multi-billion-dollar companies have their own greedy interests in saving the supply of high-purity quartz, I do believe they will try to restore the mine and the town of Spruce Pine, which basically houses all the workers who work in this mine. The rest of North Carolina might not be so lucky, because if we're to believe thousands and thousands of posts from local citizens, it looks like there's no one there to help them. And according to this lady, things have become so desperate in the mountains of North Carolina that people are now resorting to looting in order to get food for their kids.
Here's number one. If you have friends or family that are headed into the mountains or who live there, the looting has picked up major steam. I was advised yesterday by a county sheriff to make sure that anybody out and about is carrying, and in his words, carrying with the safety off. There are very aggressive people out there, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this. It's not because they're necessarily awful. They're desperate. Desperate people do desperate things, y'all. And why are they desperate? Because there's no water in some of these communities. We have neighbors in North Carolina with no water. And all I can say is this: the government ain't coming to save you. Not now, not ever, because they don't care about you, the people, anymore. It is the citizens who are going to have to step it up.
And this is what makes our blood boil. At the end of the day, whatever these shady corporations are doing, it's destroying the lives of normal people like you and me. People who were living in these small communities for peace and quiet, but now they've lost their homes and their livelihoods and even their loved ones.
And because in his last moments, he wasn't screaming for me. He was screaming, Jesus, Jesus, save me. Jesus, I hear you. Jesus, I'm calling upon you. And his wildest dreams and everything that he wanted to be was a superhero. And that was his goal in life. And instead, he's my hero.
Just wanted to jump on here and give y'all a little update. I ain't got to see it in person yet, but I've had pictures sent to me. Y'all keep me and my family in your prayers, because from what I see, I have no fucking home to go back to.
I want to show you what this flood's done. Everything on the farm drowned. Couldn't get everything out. We managed to save one horse. The rest of the horses are trapped next to the barn. We cut all the fences so they could try to get out. But everything's gone.
Let's just hope our voices are strong enough to shame the government into helping these people and stopping these greedy billionaires from stealing people's land. I'll continue to keep you updated on this situation and many others, so don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed the content. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video, and I hope to see you on the next one.